He wasn't even in the field. He was thousands of miles away, fighting battles that no trophy could measure. But when the news hit that the final round of the PGA Championship had been suspended, pushed to a Monday finish that would throw the entire major into chaos, Tiger Woods picked up his phone and fired off a message that has the golf world absolutely stunned. He didn't just criticize the decision, he went after the soul of the organization that he helped build. "This isn't how you treat a major championship," Woods said. "The PGA Tour is reeling, and the war between the legends and the leaders has just exploded." The date was Saturday, May 16, 2026, Aronimink Golf Club in Newtown Square, Pennsylvania. The third round of the PGA Championship was barely underway when the radar began to look ominous. What had started as a mist turned into a drizzle, and then into a full-blown thunderstorm that would not relent. By mid-afternoon, the horn sounded, 3 long blasts that echoed through the Pennsylvania pines. Play was suspended. At first, the delay was routine. Players retreated to the clubhouse, fans sought shelter under umbrellas and in hospitality tents, the broadcast crews filled airtime with highlight reels and analyst speculation. The expectation was that the rain would pass, the course would dry, and the tournament would resume. But the rain didn't pass. The storms lingered. Then more storms rolled in. By 5 p.m., the PGA of America faced an impossible decision: postpone the final round until Monday. The announcement sent shockwaves through the golf world. For the players, it was a disruption of rhythm and routine. For the fans, it was a disappointment, a major championship bleeding into a work week. For the television networks, it was a logistical nightmare. And for Tiger Woods, it was the final straw. Woods had been watching the tournament from afar, still in the early stages of his recovery following his March arrest. He had not played competitive golf in months. He had not spoken publicly about the state of the tour. But the decision to suspend the final round and the chaos that followed pulled him out of his silence. Sources close to Woods told reporters that he was livid with the way the PGA of America had handled the situation. He believed that the officials had waited too long to make a decision, leaving players and fans in limbo. He believed that the course setup had been unnecessarily punitive, contributing to the slow play that had plagued the tournament all week. And he believed that the PGA of America had lost sight of what made a major championship special. "This isn't how you treat a major championship," Woods said. "The PGA Tour is reeling, and the war between the legends and the leaders has just exploded." The first hint that the PGA of America had lost control of the tournament came not from the weather, but from the players. All week, the world's best golfers had been complaining about the setup at Aronimink. Scotty Scheffler called the pin placements kind of absurd. Rory McIlroy said the bunched leaderboard was a sign of not a great setup. Justin Thomas questioned whether the greens were even playable. But the weather was the tipping point. On Friday, the second round was delayed by nearly 3 hours due to inclement weather. On Saturday, the third round was suspended entirely after just a few hours of play. By the time the PGA of America announced that the final round would be pushed to Monday, the tournament had lost all of its momentum. The final round of the 2026 PGA Championship has been postponed until Monday due to the threat of additional severe thunderstorms, the PGA of America said in a statement. The decision was met with a wave of frustration from players and fans alike. Social media exploded with criticism. Some questioned why the tournament hadn't started earlier in the day to beat the weather. Others wondered why the PGA of America hadn't considered moving tee times up to avoid the storms. But the most pointed criticism came from the man who was not even in the field. Speaking through a representative, Woods issued a statement that cut to the heart of the matter. "It's a complete and utter disaster," Woods said. "You've got the best players in the world, a major championship on the line, and you're telling them to go home and come back on Monday? That's not how you run a major." The statement was uncharacteristically blunt. Woods, who has spent decades carefully managing his public image, rarely criticizes the organizations that have made him rich, but the chaos at Aronimink had pushed him over the edge.
Sources close to Woods said that he had been watching the tournament closely, hoping to see a successor emerge to carry the torch he had lit. Instead, he saw a tournament that had been sabotaged by indecision and incompetence. He was furious, not just about the weather, about everything. The setup, the slow play, the communication. He felt like a PGA of America had forgotten how to run a major. The chaos at Aronimink was not the first time a major championship had been plagued by weather delays, but it was the first time that Tiger Woods had spoken out so forcefully about the incompetence of the officials. To understand why Woods was so angry, you have to understand his history with the PGA Tour. For more than 2 decades, he had been the face of professional golf. He had won 15 major championships, including 4 PGA Championships. He had shattered records, broken barriers, and redefined what was possible in the sport. But his relationship with the tour's leadership had always been complicated. In 2009, after winning the Bridgestone Invitational, Woods was fined for criticizing a rules official who had put him and Padraig Harrington on the clock during the final round. Woods was furious, suggesting that Harrington had been rushed into 3 poor shots that led to a triple bogey. "I was so mad," Woods said at the time. "I don't think it's fair to put that pressure on a guy when you're trying to win a tournament." The incident was a precursor to the larger conflicts that would define Woods' relationship with the tour. He had always believed that the players should have more control over the game. He had always felt that the officials were too eager to insert themselves into the competition. Now, nearly 2 decades later, those same frustrations had resurfaced. "The tour has lost its way," Woods was overheard saying in a private conversation that was later leaked. The comment was a direct shot at PGA Tour Commissioner Brian Rolapp, who had taken over the organization in 2025. Rolapp had been praised for his handling of the LIV golf crisis, but his stewardship of the tour's major championships had been less impressive. Aronimink was supposed to be a showcase for the tour's new direction, a return to classic course design and punishing conditions. Instead, it had become a symbol of everything that was wrong with professional golf. The decision to push the final round to Monday was not just a disappointment, it was a humiliation. For the first time in decades, the PGA Championship would finish on a weekday. The fans who had bought tickets for Sunday would not get to see the conclusion. The television networks would have to scramble to fill airtime. The players would have to wait an extra day to find out who would hoist the Wanamaker Trophy. And the PGA of America would have to answer for the chaos. "I'm not going to sit here and make excuses," one PGA of America official said, speaking on condition of anonymity. "We made a mistake. We should have started the round earlier. We should have been more aggressive about getting the tournament in. We didn't, and now we're paying the price." The official's admission was a rare moment of accountability from an organization that had spent the week deflecting blame. But it was too little, too late. The players were furious. Rory McIlroy, who had fought his way back into contention after a disastrous first round, was asked about the decision to push the final round to Monday. "It's frustrating," McIlroy said. "You prepare all week for this. You have a rhythm. Then nature just stops you. And then the officials make a decision that leaves everyone wondering what's going on." Scottie Scheffler, the defending champion, was more diplomatic. "It is what it is. You can't control the weather. You can only control how you respond." But behind the scenes, the frustration was palpable. The players had spent the week battling not just the course, but the elements. They had endured delays, disruptions, and a relentless grind that had tested their patience and their focus. And now they had to do it all over again on Monday. Tiger Woods, watching from afar, had seen enough. "They've got to do better," Woods said in his statement. "The players deserve better. The fans deserve better. The game deserves better." The words hung in the air like the Pennsylvania humidity, and for the PGA of America, they served as a stark reminder that the legend was still watching, and he was not impressed.
The 108th PGA Championship at Aronimink will be remembered for many things. The tight leaderboard, the punishing conditions, the weather delays, the Monday finish. But what the golf world will remember most is the moment when Tiger Woods broke his silence. For months, Woods had been invisible.
He had disappeared from public view following his DUI arrest in March, entering a treatment program in Switzerland and stepping away from the game that had defined his life. The golf world had moved on without him, filling the void with new stars and new rivalries. But the chaos at Aronimink pulled him back. "The tour has lost its way," Woods said, and in saying it, he gave voice to a frustration that had been simmering beneath the surface of professional golf for years. The players were exhausted, the fans were frustrated, the officials were incompetent, and the sport that Woods had helped build was crumbling under the weight of its own ambition. The final round of the PGA Championship would be played on Monday. The Wanamaker Trophy would be awarded, the $3.6 million winner's check would be presented, but the damage was already done. Tiger Woods had gone off on the PGA Tour officials, and the golf world will never be the same. Tiger Woods went off on PGA Tour officials after the PGA Championship final round was suspended, and the golf world is absolutely stunned. The 15-time major winner, who was not even in the field at Aronimink, watched from afar as the tournament descended into chaos. Weather delays, a bunched leaderboard, and a Monday finish that left players and fans frustrated. Woods didn't hold back. "It's a complete and utter disaster," he said. "The tour has lost its way. They're more concerned with TV windows and corporate sponsors than they are with the integrity of the competition." The PGA of America was forced to answer for the chaos, admitting that they should have started the round earlier and been more aggressive about getting the tournament in. The players were furious, the fans were disappointed, and the legacy of the 2026 PGA Championship will be defined not by who won, but by how the officials lost control. Tiger Woods has spoken, the golf world is listening, and the question that lingers is whether the PGA Tour will change before it's too late. Do you think Tiger Woods was right to criticize the PGA Tour officials, or should he have stayed out of it? Drop your take in the comments below, and if you want the real story behind every controversy, every bombshell, and every major championship, hit that subscribe button, because this story is far from over.